Overland Park CrossFit, how you doing today? Today we are going to take some time and talk about the rower. This is a machine that gets used a lot. Chances are you haven't gotten a ton of coaching on how to row specifically. It is a very intuitive motion, just kind of like running. However, there are a lot of subtleties in the machine that can help you in order to lower your energy output while still getting a lot out of the rower and that monitor. So if you struggle with getting calories, getting meters, having a low 500 meter split time, especially lower than what you think it should be for the effort you're putting into that big old back squat that you have, that big deadlift that you have, you think you're stronger than that, chances are you have some energy leaks, but today, hopefully we're gonna clean those up. All right, so talking about the rower pull. The rower pull is 3 pulls and then 1 return. I'm gonna break down each of the 3 pulls into their specific sections, talk a little bit about each one, then we're gonna put it all together and talk about some little bitty things that you can try that may help you in order to build that speed and build that energy output. Little caveat, this is how I teach the row. Some people have some different mentalities on how to do so. I come from the school of thought that rowing for meters, rowing for calories should be the exact same thing, that the pull should look the same. And I am also a teacher of the row or ergometer row, which is a little bit different than rowing on true water in one of those sleek, fast little boats. So starting things off, talk a little bit about the feet. When you put your feet in here, you want that strap to lay right below that line of your toes. For me, that's a 2. I do have some smaller feet, but if you are rowing, if you have those foot pegs on a 3, you're probably going to be in a pretty good spot. If you are on the 4 or 5, chances are you got some big old feet. If you don't have big old feet, you might want to take a look at where you're putting that strap. But you're going to strap yourself in, get nice and sturdy, grabbing that handle. Now, for this first pull, it is all about leg drive. So similar to all of the Olympic lifts that we do, I want to keep slack in my shoulders. I'm not really letting them go out forward, but I'm also not pulling them way back. I have some tension. My shoulders are nice and active. I am loaded. My heel is in contact with the bottom of that foot pad, and I have a little bit of tension in my hamstrings. This is going to be an ideal starting position for most people. And then that first pull, all it is a leg drive. So just like Olympic lifts, that lift off, that lift from mid shin to knee, very similar. So we're just gonna push legs out, keeping our torso still slightly leaned forward and over that rower handle. That's crucial. A lot, I shouldn't say a lot, but some people open up early as they leg drive. And that is what they call their first pull. Keep that tension. You should feel tension in your hamstrings almost the entire time. It releases a little bit right at the end, but I have tension through that entire thing. If you want to practice that, go through a few, really leaning over the top. All right, now that we've hit this position, our first pull is completed. That second pull is a simple hip hinge. These should be 2 distinct parts with a little bit of gray area in the middle, but I don't want to see them pulled into the same motion. We'll talk about that here in a second. But on this hip hinge, I don't want to really lay it back to where I'm way back here, because especially in those workouts where we have, say, GHD sit-ups or ab mat sit-ups, toes to bar, anything that's very core intensive, muscle-ups even, if I lean back, I am calling on my abs a whole lot more than I would be right here, yet I still get a full hip hinge by rowing standards. So we're leaning back a little bit, but I'm not overly activated in my core. That is gonna be your second pull. So we start over the handle, legs relatively straight, not locked out, and then opening up. Now we've hit this position. All we've got left is an arm pull. Now, take into account that this arm pull is only worth about 10% of what you're gonna see on that monitor. So it's really not a lot, but that said, it can make for a big difference if you do not get a good arm pull. Common faults here is the elbows out arm pull and the pull it to my face and over my head arm pull. A little bit exaggerated, but you get what I'm talking about. It's those people that like to pull way up here to our chins. Couple things about that arm pull that are very crucial. Anytime you see that chain do that number, when I really rip it, anytime this thing is really moving, that means that there is energy that you have put into the rower and into the chain that is not getting tracked. It is leaving through that chain swing. So if that chain stays tight the entire time I row, the more I'm getting out of what I am putting in. Anytime that swings, I am losing energy that I am putting into the rower, but that the computer is not quite getting. So what I want you to think about is driving to your chest. That optimal pull is gonna be right below our chest line, but not through our chest. If I pull hard and I hit myself real hard in the chest, I am actually pulling through my chest and using energy to pull through my chest, but I'm not gonna get it because this chain is not going any further. Last little bit on that pull, think about it as if I asked you to elbow someone as hard as you possibly could. Now take out preferred targets for hitting a gentleman, if you will, or hitting someone in the head. All not things that I recommend. However, if I told you to put that elbow into someone as hard as you possibly could, chances are you aren't going to pull that elbow way up high. You are going to instead pull down and through your body. Same thing here, keeping those elbows down and through. Now, we have completed a full pull. We are done with the pull. What you want to do is release and return the exact same way you left. So what that's going to mean is arms first, hip hinge, load. On this reload, I don't want you to open that heel off of that rower seat. You should want to keep it in contact. I know it's going to get a little haphazard sometimes, which isn't as big of a deal, but if you're doing it on every stroke all the time, you are losing tension that you have to now build up first, and then I get to move it into that rower. So we're losing some of that energy that we're using. Instead, think about shortening that pull and opening into a slightly stronger stroke. So I shouldn't be pulling all the way up here. You can get some more energy out of that. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. You're increasing the distance that the chain moves, but if I can trick this monitor into thinking I'm pulling just as hard from here as I am from here, I am gonna benefit because I'm not using quite as much energy myself, whereas the rower thinks I'm doing the exact same stroke. For today, that's all we're gonna cover. Last quick little tidbit. That leg drive, this first pull, so start position here, is your biggest percentage of energy output that you're gonna get throughout the entire movement. So like I said, that arm pull is about 10%. That leg drive is about 50 to 60%. So it is most of your pull. Really focus on keeping that tight and strong instead of losing that heel or opening up way too soon. that lean back kind of row. Really drive the hips back, keep that chest over, and drive through your heels just like you would on a clean. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, ask another coach. They might have some other stuff to say, which is fantastic. Different things are going to work for different people. But get with a coach, ask those questions, maybe set up a one-on-one. I could talk to you about a rower for 3 hours if you let me. And we worked on those fine, minute details. So set up that personal training session if that is something you're interested in. But give each one of those little tips a try. Really focus on each pull as their own segment. And then build them together as you go. And then hopefully you will see that 500-meter split drop down, that calorie per hour mark, shoot through the roof. With that, y'all have a great day.